14 years is an eternity for a chassis to remain in production without a complete redesign. We rarely see cars, even special interest or sports cars, eclipsing the 10-year mark in the Japanese vehicle realm with a single chassis. Sure, it happens, but it's not a common occurrence, though Nissan seems to push those limits, as we've seen with the 370Z's 12-year run, which, as you're well aware, is being replaced by the new Z shortly. For the R35, though, the last 14 years have proven just how much staying power the technologically advanced brute has in its bones, and even with most enthusiasts asking when it will be retired and replaced, you have to admire the fact that it still stands among the very best. Obviously, the GT-R isn't for everyone, as it doesn't carry SUV sales numbers and isn't the automaker's bread and butter. It does, however, represent both Nissan's homegrown performance ability and its staying power, and it does so with a continually rising sticker price that started off hefty early on and has since gone up dramatically, especially with the NISMO and other special edition models. Still, you're asking yourself why Nissan hasn't introduced an R36 or something similar to progress the GT-R line rather than consistently refining and making minor changes. Just like the bolt-ons you add, remove and replace on your project car, the spherical bushings you switched over to in lieu of more comfortable, yet far too forgiving rubber or polyurethane, even the massive keystrokes tapped by your tuner that amount to minute changes in your car's custom mapping, you're essentially after the same thing Nissan is: perfection. You know it's never going to happen. There will always be some little thing you didn't do or something you could have done a little better, simply because the notion of aiming for something greater is as natural as your built-in fatherly instinct that kicks in the moment you meet your newborn. Nissan's been chasing perfection for over a decade with this chassis, and, at this point, it's about as close as they're going to get performance-wise with a production vehicle, which really only leaves aesthetic changes. Yes, another limited version of the GT-R is on the horizon, this one labeled as a 2021.5 NISMO Special Edition model. Based on the info provided, it sounds like the same VR38 is on board, boasting a snarling 600 horsepower and over 480 pounds-foot of torque sent through its complex Atessa ETS-AWD layout. What you can't see is the additional effort inside the power plant that includes focusing on weight-balanced internals on both the block and head, with tighter tolerances. The detail-oriented assembly is said to assist with a greater performance feel behind the wheel that includes quicker turbo spool and crisper revs than ever before. A badge placed on the front of each limited edition engine signifies its status. And yes, the dual clutch trans is still there, no matter how much people complain about the death of manual transmissions. What you can see on the outside of the new offering is the sultry NISMO stealth gray paint and an exposed carbon fiber hood, which is clear-coated for longevity. It's a big chunk of carbon, but it's not out of place, as the high-strength, lightweight fiber is used on the grille, fog light bezels, front lip, and more. The black accents are highlighted by 20-inch forged wheels by Rays, and there's a healthy amount of red accenting the lower portion of the car's aero. Honestly, I love the color combo, even though on paper, the bluish hue combined with plenty of black and hits of red really didn't sound all that tempting, but in the flesh, it's a sharp combo for a car that was always intended to be bold, rather than beautiful. As stated earlier, it's not for everyone, simply based on various tax brackets. While a price was not announced, the previous NISMO edition required over $212K to jump into, so it only makes sense to assume six figures will be applied to this limited run, which might very well be the last of its kind for the long-running R35.